Next delegation is John Jordan from Wilmot. John, are you in the audience?
I'm here.
Welcome. You have the podium, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is John Jordan. I live on Bleems Road across from the 770 acres of prime farmland that is in great peril. On July 24th of this year, hired heavy equipment operators, and notice I didn't call them farmers, from outside of this region were hired to destroy 160 acres of food. I was there and took photos of those who were paid by government to destroy food. Food that could have been used for feed for livestock, or even if given a few more weeks, could have been used to produce the thousands of everyday food products that contain corn and feed thousands of people, including the vast numbers that use the food bank. So yes, for those who aren't familiar with food production, this field corn is used for human consumption. But instead, our governments, plural, decided to destroy this crop on the taxpayer's wallet to the tune of pushing $500,000 for reasons of due diligence. Why? That is my first question. It could have waited. I know that none of my questions will be answered by any politician or staff member this evening, or likely ever, nor will you ask me any tough questions after I finish. But I know the media is listening very carefully and will certainly have the same questions for the politicians and staff. Question 2, the report states that the region spoke to multiple livestock feed producers and a biofuel company. Who were these sources? What were the questions asked and what were their replies? And why weren't they in the report? This information should be public knowledge, and if not, well, it seems that there's something to hide. Question 3, September 4th was the first we observed about 10 people walking around the 160-acre parcel of land. This was 42 days after the destruction of the crop and certainly would have been more than a mature livestock feed. But what were the people on the land of the state doing, as it should be public knowledge? The one study I would like to mention is the hydrology studies. If this involves drilling, very little crop would be destroyed in order to drill some holes. To date, we have not witnessed any drilling.
John, you have 1 minute remaining.
And on another note, shouldn't the region be aware of the water and the aquifers on this land? Water that is a huge concern, as Elmira knows all too well. As a side note, in 1989, contaminants were discovered in the aquifer beneath the town of Elmira. The contaminant was linked to Uniroyal Chemicals' manufacturing plant and was identified as the carcinogen NDMA. It's the town's only supply of drinking water. And by the way, that information was sourced at deutschmannlaw.com. Learn from history. 80% of our water in the region is groundwater. The huge risk in this alone should put a complete stop to this whole fiasco. The due diligence glaringly absent in this report is public consultation. Have any of you ever talked to anyone who is affected by this, and not just the immediate landowners? The stress, mental anguish, fear, and many other emotions, too many to list, are taking a huge negative toll on many people. This should be your first point of due diligence. My last question, who was the person and their position that is ultimately responsible for ordering the destruction of 160 acres of food? We are not a willing host. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I have a couple of questions. Councillor Salonen.
I just wanted to say thank you very much, John, for coming tonight and for posing your questions.
We're not a willing host.
Councillor Shantz. John, you have another question. You got a couple more. Councillor Shantz.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who presented this evening. And I'm sorry I can't answer your questions, but I do want to clarify something just in case someone listening gets the wrong idea. It was our source of drinking water in Elmira. We don't get our drinking water from there anymore. We get clean drinking water. So I just wanted to clarify that, lest someone thinks that we're drinking contaminated water.
Well, my source was deutschmannlaw.com. I don't know. You might want to find out something from whoever that person is, but anyway.
Councillor Deutschmann.
Thank you. Nothing with respect to that piece, but I wasn't sure how to approach this, whether it was through a question to the delegation, but this matter is down the line in our agenda, and I wanted to know if the delegate would be interested in having this matter dealt with immediately after all speakers are done.
That would be a decision for council. So if you want, you can ask that after. So the John, you can sit down. Thank you. That's
Yeah,
really
just-
not.
I couldn't bring it up as a point of order, and I was going through the rules to see how I could raise it. And
What I
didn't
would
see it.
suggest that that's not a fair thing to ask the delegate, that you should make it a point of order and ask council.
Well, it's not a point of order, though. I just was reading the rules about point of order, and it's not considered a point of order. So that's why I did it this way.
I'll put you back
you're-
in the queue, okay?
Your guidance is appreciated, Madam Chair.
John, thank you very much.
Thank you.